put an end to all you are doing at the moment. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb. Close each and every other tab on your browser. Increase the volume and pay close attention to me. Cautiously due to the Coachella Valley. Right now, Southern California is under complete siege. If you believe that you knew the BNP's atmosphere, the idea of Paribus Open was to feel like, please take that preconceived idea, break it apart, and discard it totally out of the question. We're not discussing courteous golf claps. We are not referring to a quiet country club tennis where spectators drink champagne in quiet. We are discussing in complete, unheard of earthquake ticket frenzy that caused a secondary crash marketplaces, overworked servers, and sent tournament organizers into an overall stress about logistics. Additionally, the impetus for this lovely turmoil is all one. Alexandra, a 20-year-old single lady Eala, has made her formal landing in the California desert, and she has brought the whole Filipino diaspora worldwide with her. The reports that we are receiving from Indian Wells are now unquestionably astounding. Tickets for the particular sessions in which Eala is even anticipated to enter the court and disappear inside thin air. The prestigious tennis in the desert paradise has been totally taken over by the Alex Eala Effect, and the conventional, the tennis establishment, is situated in complete amazement at what's happening before their eyes. To actually recognize the reasons for the box offices bursting at the moment, and why the prices in the secondary ticket market soar to heights often reserved for the Grand Slam finals, you must examine what the true myths of the behind closed doors sports are talking. A few days ago, on the public microphone, Nothing Major, which is very popular podcast, Sam, a retired ATP powerhouse, Steve Johnson, John Nur, and Query devoted a significant portion to this precise phenomena. Let's include this into viewpoint for a moment. These are men who have participated in the largest center courts around the globe. They've played Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. They have seen all that observe in the world of professional tennis. Nevertheless, they were utterly astounded by what they are observing with Alex Eala. Sam. The inquiry was posed via query point blank, that each and every marketing manager, each sponsor, as well as each event director, the Women's Tennis Association. I'm wondering right now, is Alex Eala the largest attraction in women's tennis at the moment on a worldwide level? Steve Johnson did not even think twice before responding. He stated indeed. He spoke of the throngs that flocked to Australia to see her, and the huge crowds in Dubai as a standing room alone, indicating the degree of focus around her crazy and completely enormous. When a previously elite American males as athletes, males who typically concentrate primarily on the ATP, are devoting it's podcast time to examine the sheer crowd-pulling ability of a 20-year-old Filipina traveling with the WTA. You are aware of complete assurance that the paradigm of the sport has changed significantly. They observed that the energy in the she is more than a local phenomena. It is an enormous worldwide mobilization of Filipinos who flock to these stadiums to back their national hero. And right now, she is entering the Southern California, a state that takes great pride in among the biggest, liveliest, and Filipino Americans with the most enthusiasm populations over the globe. If there was only standing room in stadiums, in the Indian Wells, in the Middle East, we'll need to construct more bleachers just to meet the demand. However, let's be quite clear about one really significant item. This ticket frenzy is not limited to national pride or cultural portrayal. It is founded on harsh, cold, and indisputable supremacy on the tennis court. Alexa is failing to attend the 5th Grand Slam as a charming media narrative or a fortunate wild card entry in an attempt to put together a couple games. She is on her way to California as the ultimate predator after her legendary giant killing trek to the quarterfinals of the WTA 1000 tournament. She sent the global number to Dubai. In a match, Jasmine Paolini packed 7. It caused the stadium to visibly tremble. Eala has caused the computer ranks to soar, reached a global ranking of 31, a career best. You are aware of the true meaning of that number. In relation to the draw at Indian Wells, it indicates that she has officially received a first purchase. She is not required to trudge through the first several days of the competition. She is not required to do an anxious qualifier who is battling for their existence. She can relax and sit back. Examine the sketch with her legs. Rafa Nadal's coaching staff academy. and await her victim in the 6-4 round. She's cracked the top level of the sport, switching to a sitting position at a 1000-level tournament for the first time in her whole career in the workplace. She has compelled the WTA computer to quantitatively determine what her most devoted supporters have always known. She is a top-tier, international danger who has both the tactics and the firepower brilliant enough to defeat everyone on any particular day. And if you want any more evidence that the vast corporate world is well conscious of her enormous power, take a look at what she did before setting foot in the desert to do a drill ball. As other players continued to grind sweating away on the practice courts, Alex Eala was being treated like the sun. Whole worldwide royalties at the Nike Beaverton, Oregon, is home to the global headquarters. She received more than a typical business excursion. She received a customized red carpet greeting from the world's richest sports seer behemoth Earth. Nike really plastered enormous posters of her most memorable moments career along the walls of their renowned campus. They produced an enormous, breathtaking visual spectacle that was influenced by the sampita, the lovely national flower of the Philippines, in remembrance of her heritage and give her a sense of belonging. Nike knows the arithmetic better than anybody. They observe the stadiums that are sold out. They monitor the interaction on social media figures. They see the goods taking off away from the shelves. They are aware that Alex Eala is the best, most profitable link between Western sports equipment and the enormous, mostly unrealized potential of the Asian market. They are fastening a symbolic rocket to her back, as they are aware that she is the essential future face of their globe section of tennis. When a business such as Nike implements such a strategy, it conveys a frightening message to the remainder of the trip. Thus, what does this imply for the event itself in the desert of California? It implies the directors of the tournament and the Indian Wells Scheduling Committee is confronting a horrifying, stunning logistical nightmare. Typically, early round matchups for players who have just been seeded are planned for the smaller outer courts, such as Court 4 or Court 6. However, Alex Eala cannot be placed on an outside the courtroom. It's a physical impossibility. If you place her on the thousands upon thousands outside the court, thousands of admirers who are now swarming the ticket booths, purchasing every pass they come across will really overtake the establishment. The sheer amount of those who are eager to get a look at her hefty left-handed forehand requests that she be positioned on Stadium 1 or Stadium 2. She's pressuring the organizers to give her the same degree of consideration for scheduling that they provide to an Egatech or an Arena. Sabalenka is a certified primary attraction for an event. Additionally, for the player who has the regrettable, really poor luck of drawing her in the subsequent round, they are entering an absolute mental meat grinder. Imagine playing tennis professionally on the WTA circuit. You spend your whole life training. You give up your early years. You soar all the way to California. You leave onto the hard court from the tunnel. Moreover, it dawns on you that 15,000 individuals are engaged in the stands, fervently and loudly in prayer for your demise. Each and every time when a first serve is missed, the audience explodes in cheers. Each time Alex Eala strikes the stadium is the eventual clear winner, physically trembles underfoot. We're witness the current US Open champion, Coco Gauff champion, and among the most psychologically tough athletes in the world, acknowledge in the press conference she had in Dubai, to deceive herself into thinking her name was being chanted by the audience immediately to endure the oppressive mental, fighting the Alex Eala fan base. I want you to multiply now that boisterous crowd in Dubai by 10. Give them an injection with the dazzling sunlight of California and place them inside the enormous echoing Indian Wells Tennis Garden Bowl. Her opponents are dealing with it. It is an oppressive, stifling, unrelenting wall of noise. Eala also feeds away from it. She doesn't back down from the overwhelming pressure from her fellow citizens. She takes it in. She directs their energy, their tenacity, their challenges, and their great pride, and she transforms everything into total baseline violence. The strategic. This matchup is also very interesting and unavoidable. The Indian Wells courts are infamously distinct. Yes, these courts are demanding, but the ball holds onto the surface and the ball flies in the dry air, generating a high-bouncing, gritty, and very sluggish surroundings. These circumstances are ideal, flawlessly compensate gamers who employs heavy, topspin more effectively. Compared to a left-handed prodigy who was taught at Mallorca's Rafa Nadal Academy. No, These sluggish courts are essentially constructed for Alexa's game in a lab fashion. She is able to stand at the starting point, control the court shape, tear that enormous forehand loop crosscourt, and force her rivals to far back into the fence of California that. To locate the net, they want a map. The strong hitters that depend on flat drives, they will locate their balls with shoots. In Eala's attack zone, sitting upright. For anybody on it, it is a tactical nightmare. The other end of the internet. The risks for this particular competition are astronomical. However, Alex Eala is special, playing with the whole amount of home money, because she is eagerly awaiting this. At her BNP Paribas Open debut, there are 0 ranking points to defend. From the calendar of the previous year, she has nothing to lose. Each and every game she triumphs, each round she progresses is pure, unadulterated earnings for her WTA ranking. She has a huge, towering mountain to climb later in month on the other side of the Miami Open Nation, in which she must protect 390 points from her renowned wildcard run to the semifinals last year. However, here in the desert, Indian Wells, she is free to swing, she is able to enormous hazards. She is free to pursue her aggressive returns and passing shots without the oppressive fear of declining in the computer rankings. Moreover, I can assure you that a courageous, unburdened, the most hazardous iteration of Alexi is. There is an Alexi. If she is able to string. When combined, a couple statements win these rough, sluggish courts, she could break over the top 20 barrier with ease. Before the whole month of March has passed. However, this narrative, this complete phenomena, is much more than ranking points, reward money, or even a Grand Slam ambitions. What we are seeing, the California desert is now experiencing a large-scale cultural movement, deftly posing as a professional tennis player competition. For many years, the top sport of tennis has been frantically looking for seeking strategies to broaden its audience of older people to attract new, younger admirers to the arenas, and to ultimately escape the stereotype of a stuffy, exclusive country club. Alex is fully doing that. All by themselves. She's bringing teenagers, grandparents, and diligent foreign employees, as well as ardent casual, including sports enthusiasts in the tennis ecosystem for the first time. She is demonstrating to the enormous corporate sponsors that representation is important. When she enters the court, ties her, she holds her bobble racket and wears Nike sneakers. Not only is she speaking for herself, her coaching staff, or sponsors. She is flying the flag for more than a century, millions of individuals who at last have a transcendent, indisputable superstar they may confidently claim as their own. The pass Indian Wells fever is about more than observing two individuals strike a yellow fuzzy ball over a net and back again. It is regarding people's intense desire to be, while history is being written in the building. It has to do with wanting to go back 10 or 15 years. Years from now, when Alex Eala is clutching, winning many Grand Slam medals at Roland Garros and Wimbledon, and stating, "I was present, standing in the stands when she conquered the desert entirely," and draw attention to the whole universe. Created the WTA's old guard hierarchy is formally put on notice. The defending Mara Andrea, the world champion, the clay court, one Arena Sabalenka Igas, the queen, and the top 10 are television while lounging in their hotel suites. The purchases of tickets soar, hearing the podcasts, and become aware of a depressing sense that the power relationship of the trip is drastically changing under their feet. The time of Alex Eala is no longer a daring forecast for the far-off future. It is the ultimate. The horrible truth of today, the sought-after first-round purchase is secure. Her legs are fresh and refreshed. The Nike armor is securely fastened. Tactical strategy from her superior. The coaching staff is ready, and her enormous devoted fan base is organizing at the gates, prepared to change the Coachella Valley into Manila. I have to hear from each and every one of you, observing or hearing this in-depth analysis at the moment. If you reside in California, or if you're traveling from out of state via plane, have you been able to get a ticket to this complete insanity? Or are you locked, affected by the unheard-of ticket craze and the crazy prices on the secondary market? To what extent do you really believe Alex Eala is now eligible to participate in this competition? That she is now a sitting player, with the enormous benefit of a first-round purchase? Do you believe the hard courts are renowned for being sluggish and bouncing high? Of Indian Wells will provide her with the final tactical edge over the conventional hefty flat hitters of the WTA. What do you think of her initial? The opponent will deal with the 15,000 fans' thunderous screams opposing them. Please put down your boldest forecasts, your precise scorelines, as well as your loudest. The comment section's proudest support downwards due to the YouTube algorithm must see the unadulterated, unparalleled force of. Make sure you reach that fan base. Click like and subscribe to the channel immediately. And activate the alert ring to ensure you don't miss a second of our comprehensive wall-to-wall coverage. We will be monitoring each and every top spin forehand, each and every important match point, as well as each and every historic, as Alexandra Eala gets ready to put the desert of California on absolute flames. At last, the long wait is over. This is the 5th Grand Slam. The draw is established, and the new court queen has formally arrived.